Welcome to Creepy and Geeky. I'm your host, Robert, and on today's episode, I'm talking to new guest Damien Casey about John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13. Damien is an artist and writer of weird books. Welcome to the show, Damien.
Hey, Robert, thanks for having me.
Yeah. I want to get this out of the way real quick because you're going to have the same intro on a later episode that we've actually already recorded. So Damien is new to audiences here because this you're coming in to kind of save my butt last minute on an episode. But we've already recorded a future episode that was actually the first episode that we had together. So
It's
uh,
like it is like time travel, isn't it?
a little bit, yeah.
It's very much like time travel. That's interesting because it's like here I am now, but here whenever that comes out, it'll be technically the first conversation. I don't have to explain this. It's basic. It's a basic concept.
Exactly. Well, yeah. So, since you're new to the podcast, again, in a way,
Yeah.
this is the first time my audience is getting to meet you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your writing and your
Okay.
artwork?
Yeah, totally. I'm Damien. I don't. I'm like sitting here trying to think like, don't say things you said last time, but then it's like they didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's free game.
Yeah.
I write kind of weird, bizarro fiction. I kind of call it like the Bloomhouse version of Bizarro, whereas Bloomhouse is like the kind of lighter PG-13 version of like R-rated horror. That wasn't a very good explanation, was it? Oh well, we'll roll with that one. Yeah, and I do weird arts for my mental health and to kind of heal my inner child that people seem to like for some reason. But yeah, cool. I guess. Oh, this week I guess my book will have had a cover reveal because it does tomorrow for summer camp for werewolves. So I guess
Okay.
maybe Google it or something. Do a
There you
Googs.
go. You can go check out his Instagram, Damien Thulu, um, and go check out that cover reveal, which will hopefully be there as well.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, it will be there. It will absolutely be there. And Squirm Books, the publisher, will have it too. I don't know
All
why I
right.
said do a Googs instead of go to these places where I know it is. Oh well.
It's all right. It's all right. We got you. We got you. All right. Well, today we are starting off a year-long look at John Carpenter's movies. I'm not starting with his very first movie, Dark Star. That one's a little weird and a little unpolished, and it's okay. It's a good movie. But I really wanted to start off with what, most people consider to be kind of the real start of his career, which is Assault on Precinct 13, which, even with it being just his second movie, and this one coming out in like the mid 70s, we are looking at somebody who already is defining his kind of filmmaking sense. We've already got him with the tense, um, like camera, like the tense direction and the good music and everything. And this is something I wanted to specifically say about this movie has probably one of my favorite Carpenter soundtracks. Also, it's very spare. It's not a very like a lot of you know stuff. There's a lot of music that's reused over and over and over through the movie, but it just I don't know it hits really hard, and I really enjoy the music in this.
Oh hell yeah!
Um,
Like that opening bass line
oh
is
yeah,
like so iconic. Do 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 do
I
do
had to
do
turn down my TV
do
because it was
do.
just so bass heavy. I was like, wow, this is like, but it's really like really good. I love
Man,
that
yeah.
opening theme.
Which is kind of it's now that you mention it and I think about it, this being like his first movie after Dark Star, which by the way, I love Dark Star. That beach ball segment is
Yeah.
pure gold. But yeah, it's wild that this is actually like his first I guess thing, like the first thing that people really recognize him for because it is insanely like polished and like the script like
Hmm.
I'm watching again for probably the first time in a couple of years was just like man, Carpenter never misses with dialogue, does he? And there's like conversations that like come back around, like why did they call you Napoleon? And it just comes looping back around, like
Hmm.
at the end, like he's the master of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think it's interesting too because this is about an hour and a half long. And but it's a tight hour and a half. There are like the siege doesn't even really happen until over halfway through the movie. But the movie never feels like it's spinning its wheels. Like there's always something going on through the movie um that's entertaining and keeps you focused in it and keeps that tension kind of there because you know something's about to happen. Um, you also have these four guys in this car roaming about and just killing random people, including what is considered one of the most shocking moments on film too of them killing this little girl. Um,
Yeah, never return your food and ask, ask for the right order, man. Like
right?
holy shit. It's just like I was
Yeah,
I was telling you before we recorded, I've seen it over a dozen times, but like every time I see that scene where she's just like, "Hey, this is the wrong flavor of ice cream." Ow! It's just like, man, that was cold. Like,
it's
I don't think,
it's
I don't think,
yeah. Go ahead,
I don't
sir.
think. No, it's okay. I don't think anything is like captured that level of like coldness like that scene. If I'm being honest, like
Yeah,
he doesn't even really like. I don't even know like how he could have acknowledged that it was a little girl at first. Like it was just like he didn't care who it was. He didn't even think about it. It was just so natural for him to kill this
yeah.
person. It's like it's so I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable every time I see that one scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. I it's one of the most brutal scenes and they actually it's so funny too because that scene was going to get them like an NC-17 rating or an
I
X
can
rating.
see
I
it.
think it was an
Yeah.
X rating at the time. So that scene was going to get them an X rating at the time. And so what they did was he didn't want to cut it out. And so what they did was they submitted a version to the MPAA without that scene and then just put it back in when they actually like actually
Right.
put it out
Yeah,
for theaters.
of
So
course he did. Of course he did.
so he actually like one of the rare instances where he got where somebody got one up on the MPAA like that. So
And
um
of course it would be him. Like that just seems like the kind of parlor trick that he would pull, right?
of
Like he's just like,
course.
oh, I know what we'll do. We'll just take it out and then we'll put it back in.
Yeah. I did see that he is like in later years he was like, yeah, I should have taken that out. But because it is very brutal.
Maybe
Um
just like yeah, just take it out and have the sound would have been okay. But like,
yeah,
man, that is like, yeah, it's a considering the tone of the movie, it's a little rough. It's a little rough to
right.
watch.
So this is so going back, this movie's kind of inspired by the Howard Hawks Western film Rio Bravo. This is kind of Carpenter is a big Howard Hawks fan. And this is his like version of a Western. He wanted to do a Western, but he knew at the time that this was made, Westerns had been played out. Westerns were no longer selling well. So they did. So he decided to make it this way instead, as more of a exploitation film about these this gang, these youth gangs, um, taking over this police station that's about to be closed.
Yeah,
Um, so, um,
yeah. The something that I to kind of spiral off what you said, like it feels very much like a western. Like it almost feels like a spaghetti western in a lot of ways,
hmm yeah,
especially with the dialogue. Like it feels
yeah,
very much like a like the first thing that comes to mind is the is Unforgiven. Like the dialogue that just keeps whipping back around with the same like humor and like the way you just remember it almost. Like it's just
right,
cleverly written, right? So that always kind of that yeah, that totally makes sense that he based it on a western for sure. And it well, I was when I was watching it last night, to touch on that, it kind of reminds me, and this is going to sound so weird, parts of it kind of remind me of Night of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no, it definitely has that like that feeling of like any movie like Night of the Living Dead or anything. What was the other movie I just watched or just was thinking about? There was another movie I'm just thinking about that was like you're in a location and you're being besieged by forces from the outside.
yeah, and
And
there's
yeah,
even
Night
that
of the
scene.
Living Dead does a really good job with that.
There's even that scene where I don't know. I will be honest with you. I don't remember the character's name, so I'll just call him the prisoner. Where I think no, he's Napoleon. Napoleon Wilson, and then the secretary's Lee. I can't remember the
Yeah.
cop's name. I never can remember the cop's name.
Cop is Bishop.
Bishop. Okay. Wow. Why would I forget that? Aliens, man. Wow. Okay. So yeah, there's the part where Napoleon tells Bishop, "Hey, we should go down in the basement. It's the most secure place." Like, and I was like, this movie really is kind of just like Night of the Living Dead, but with a gang instead of zombies, isn't it? Like that's what it felt like at some point.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too because like the whole thing revolves around these gangs are getting revenge because a bunch of their people were killed by the LAPD because they had stolen weapons. And so now this gang these gangs are combining to take on the police and the citizens of Los Angeles. And Bishop is assigned to help with this decommissioned police precinct. It's the last night. It's going to be closed up, and there's only a couple of people in there, including a couple of secretaries. And that's when a police bus rolls up, like a prison bus rolls up, and needs to stop there because one of the people on the bus is sick. And so they need to get that guy off the bus, and
I kind of couldn't
that
believe that. Now that I'm older, and like I was like, wow, they're really just gonna like help him get off the bus when he's sick. Like, I feel like the prison system now would just be like, tough it out, bro. And it's like,
yeah.
were we actually a little more humane to prisoners in the '70s than we are now? That's crazy.
It's weird, like because like when you think about it, it's like ooh, I guess we kind of were and we weren't because there were other issues probably, And again,
Oh
it's a
hell yeah!
movie, so maybe for movie wise, it's probably a little bit more like oh yeah, okay, yeah, for a movie we'll say that he'll stop there
Pic,
because it worked.
pic,
It
picture
works
that
for the
conversation. Picture that conversation. John, how are we gonna get him to stop at this abandoned precinct? One of them's sick. Oh, okay, cool.
yeah,
How's he sick? What's wrong with him? He's sick. He's just sick.
yeah,
They just
he's
got to
just
go
sick.
there. They're just going there. The audience
He's
won't
got the
think about it much.
he's got
And
the flu or something.
little did he know, like 6 years later, two goobers would be talking about it on a podcast.
Yeah. Too funny. But yeah, so basically it's just the setup is that these prisoners are now here, and one of them is Napoleon, was it Napoleon Wilson?
Yeah, yeah.
Um he's like a hardcore like guy. I don't think we're ever really told anything much. I guess he's on death row, right? I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
much like why the gang killed the ice cream man, we have no idea what the vendetta or beef is there. Like
Yeah.
we just know that he's supposed to be like one of the hardest motherfuckers on planet Earth.
Yeah, yeah. So so um they are they get out of the bus, but they're attacked by the gang and barely get inside. Wells and Wilson, the two prisoners, um, but they it's just it's an interesting like I said this off air. I don't know that there's a lot to talk about with this movie because it is a very sparse movie. There's a lot going on, but there's also not. So
Very, very much so.
um,
Yeah, it's very much like the elevator pitch for the movie would be prisoners go to abandoned go to abandoned precinct and have to work together to fight a gang. That's literally about all that happens in the
Yeah.
movie. But there's so
Yeah.
much more that happens within that, I guess.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting. I think more than anything, it's about the characters. I think it's cool because you've got one of my favorite people in this is actually the Secretary Lee, played by Laurie Zimmer, who actually had like almost no career. She did a few more movies after this one, and then decided to give up acting.
Yeah, I
Which
thought that was so interesting because I was watching it when I was watching it again, I was like, she's like really good in this. Like she's
she
like
is, she's so intense, and she's kind of like underplays it, but like she's got this weird, like I don't know, her facial expressions are just so good. And she just, I don't know, her whole look was really like awesome to me. I don't know, I was really captivated by her. Like each time I watch this movie, I'm always just like, oh my God, who is she? Why did she not work more? She's
she could
like, I
have
feel like she should have like been that much like more prominent, even if it was just in genre films. I think she would have had a really good career if she would have wanted to. Obviously, she decided not
yeah,
to.
she would have
Um,
totally been like I was getting ready to say is her facial features and the way she like acts with her eyes. Like you
mhm,
can read so much about what's going on in the character's head by the way that she expresses emotion through her eyes and face, and it's just like
yeah.
she would have been like the perfect like badass action hero in the 80s. Like she would have been like perfect for those kind of roles, like a Sarah Connor style role or something like that. Like she would have been so good at that kind of stuff, or even like the final girl, quote unquote, type roles. Like
Right.
she has this kind of presence about her, and even this movie where it's like she's just kind of in the room, but she's kind of out working everybody else that's in the room with her, and it's just like
Yeah.
you're just outshining and outworking everybody in acting, but you're not even saying anything. You're just kind of there.
Right. Yeah, she reminded me kind of Meg Foster, who
I
is like the
actually thought it was Meg Foster for a minute. I was like, this isn't Meg Foster, is it? And then I was like, maybe it is because like he's John Carpenter works with her, so maybe it is. And I
yeah.
looked it up and was like, no, it's not a young Meg Foster at all. That's so strange.
Sure, her eyes have that same weird piercing quality without the weird blueness that Meg Foster has.
Very
Um,
much so.
so yeah, so that's why I felt like she was just reminding me of her. She just had this like real, like kind of steely look the whole time. And she was like, it was so funny too, because like it's the same. She doesn't really change her demeanor or anything like that. She doesn't ever really come off as scared or anything. She even gets shot in the arm at one point and just like takes it and just stands there. And I'm just like, who the fuck is this woman? Um
And she takes everything so like when they're like, you did pretty good. If I'd have done better, she wouldn't be dead. You're just like, damn.
right. Yeah. Now she does show some emotion. Like there's a bit where she's seen later on, she's seen her coworker played by Nancy Loomis, who I'll get back to. Um seeing her dead on the floor, and you can see the emotion in her face. And then later on, at the very end too, when the police are like, here, let's go get you some help, and she looks back at Napoleon, and there's a lot of emotion going on in there. So like that's the thing, like is it, I like there she's doing really good like facial emoting without like going over the top or really doing a lot of overacting. She like really kind of underacts it, but like in a
Yeah.
really good way.
You know, and that's something. This is something that I'm glad you mentioned that ending scene. This is like my only qualm with this whole movie. Why did we have to have that weird, like almost like romance? I didn't. I like.
Yeah.
I really noticed it bad this time, and I was like, this really kind of like. I don't know. I don't know why he did this. Like this woman's like a secretary at a police precinct, and this man is like supposedly like one of the worst prisoners of all time, and she's just like love at first sighting him. It's so like
Well,
odd.
and I get that in the extreme circumstances that they had, that they worked together and he saved her and all that at the same time, like, but yeah, it felt really weird. It's like it's really weird when they try to shoehorn in some kind of like weird romantic plot, but I don't know if that's even what he was going for necessarily. I just think it was the intensity of the situation. She was just Um,
Yeah, because
um,
it very much does come across as like you said, like he thought, well, nobody's going to care about this woman character unless she's in love with one of them and there's a romantic interest. It felt very much like that's what was happening. But
yeah.
you could tell by her lines that isn't what he was wanting to do. So I don't know.
Yeah, like I think it's just like maybe her acting, like maybe she was just going for that and it wasn't really intentionally like that or something. I'm not positive because it did feel weird. But I also at the same time just maybe she was just like, she was um she just felt sad that, he helped them at the like try to survive that night and that now he's still having to go to jail and
Yeah, that's very
probably
true too. Well,
maybe there's
yeah,
something going on there that you and I maybe misread as romanticism was more just like a melancholy about him.
yeah.
So
There's just that I never really noticed it till there's like one scene where they're kind of gazing into each other's eyes, and I was just like, there's a little flirtatiousness going on here. Am I
yeah.
misread? Like, am I supposed to take this as romantic? Because I'm not loving that all of a sudden.
But I
But
can
yeah,
see it from his point, like from like his character. Hell yeah, because he was doing the charming thing off and on. Like he wasn't doing it the whole time, but he would do it once in a while. And he was an interesting character, Napoleon too, because it's just like, so he's supposed to be this hard as nails guy and everything like that, but he's very likable, very funny, very like charming.
yeah.
And,
I was thinking this. Sorry, not to derail you, but
no, go ahead.
just thinking about this because we're both comic book guys, and this is going to be so cliche of me to say, but I immediately thought if this was right now, he would be the perfect Batman. Like this actor would be a great Bruce Wayne and Batman. Like because he does the charming kind of joke thing, but then when it's business time, like he was like
Yeah.
his whole demeanor shifted. Like he would have been great as that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Um, yeah, he just yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, and I don't know that I've ever seen him in anything else. This is the only thing that I know that I've seen him. Yeah, according to his Wikipedia, this was his largest role.
Wow.
And it is considered to be his best.
He
Um,
just he went for it. He said, "You know what? If this is it, this John
yeah,
Carpenter guy, I like him."
right. Um, yeah, and he was also in The Fog as well. He played the coroner in that, so which
Which
I didn't remember, but it's a much smaller role for sure.
the fog. We were messaging about John Carpenter remakes being forgettable, but like, unfortunately for me, most of just the plain movie, The Fog, kind of falls a little unforgettable. Kind of falls forgettable for me, and I don't know why. Not because it's bad, like it's fantastic, but I just don't remember any of it.
Right.
I don't know. Weird.
Yeah.
Like I especially don't remember there being a coroner in The Fog.
Yeah.
There's like a
Oh
church or
man.
something. I feel like I don't. Maybe I need to rewatch that one for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. That one is coming up this month as well. So,
Nice, nice.
um, that is something I do want to mention to everybody because I did mention at the top of the episode that I'm doing this John Carpenter stuff. I'm not doing them all at once. I'm not doing them like the next bunch of episodes are all John Carpenter. They're actually going to be broken up over the course of the year. I'm doing 4 this month, and then I'm coming back in May to do more, like another 4, and then the next 4 after that in August, and then. Uh, and then it looks like the last 4 in November. So they're broken up throughout the year. So
Nice.
so yeah, there'll be plenty of Carpenter goodness throughout the year, but yeah,
Oh my God! Good luck to whoever gets the award.
I'm not covering that.
Oh man, what a movie! What a movie, man. Who is Amber Heard, right? That's
Amber Heard, yeah.
and Sydney
Um,
Sweeney's in it in like a very
I
small
don't
role.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad movie, but it's definitely not like up there for sure.
It doesn't
Um,
even feel like I'll just be honest. It
no, it
doesn't
doesn't
even
feel
feel
like a
like John
Carpenter movie.
Carpenter. It feels
No.
like he got paid a bunch of money to do it, and he said, "Well, you know what? I do like money. Okay."
but I will let everybody know there's a few movies I'm not doing. Like I said already, I'm not doing Dark Star. I'm not doing The Ward. So I'm not doing his first movie. I'm not doing his last movie. I'm also not doing. I'm not covering Elvis. I'm not covering Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
Those would have been the
So
ones I guessed you would not be doing because those are like his malign. Like he does not like those.
exactly. So like I think um Elvis he probably enjoys, but because that's what first connected him to Kurt Russell. But all the rest of them are just kind of like either lower, like so lower tier that they didn't feel like worth talking about, or in the case of Memoirs of an Invisible Man, he outright hates that movie.
Yeah,
And it's not a great movie, so I just felt like it wasn't worth covering.
I'm so like so to question. So that this is out of the way, I'm so basic about my favorite John Carpenter movie, and you would think it's The Thing, but but actually like that trilogy. I guess his unofficial trilogy would be. I have such a hard time choosing between those three. Sometimes it's The Thing, sometimes it's In the Mouth of Madness, and sometimes it's Prince of Darkness.
Right.
But
None of those are my top faves. My fave is They Live. So
yeah, I would put like the next row down, like the next tier would definitely be They Live in Big Trouble for sure.
yeah. Yeah, I'd say
I
They Live, Big Trouble, and Christine are like kind of my top three of his that I
oh
love.
yeah, for sure.
So
I like this is going to be a hot take that people are going to roll their eyes at or something, but I really like I like Halloween, but it's not it for me in a lot of ways. I don't know how to explain it.
no, I agree. I think Halloween's a great movie, and well worth its place on the pedestal, especially in horror and in slashers. It is kind of the grandfather of them all. But yeah, I feel you there. It's
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 not
it's a great movie. It's just not in my top tier of what I think of when I think of John Carpenter.
it's
So
one of his like I feel like it's one of his best made movies,
yes,
but that's where I have issue, I guess, is because I like rewatchability.
yes,
Like
it's
I can't pay attention to Halloween for like an hour 45 runtime like once a week. Whereas I can like turn on Prince of Darkness or They Live or even Vampires and just like vibe.
yeah, yeah. No, because there's movies that you can feel are a John Carpenter
Yeah,
movie. And I think Halloween is that. Halloween is 100% a John Carpenter movie, but there's some of them that are just even more John Carpenter. And
very much so.
I feel like even Assault on Precinct 13 actually fits that bill so well.
Yeah.
And it really does because the music, the kind of um I think what's interesting, I think, juxtaposing Halloween to some of his other stuff. I like when it just things seem to be bigger than they are. Halloween seems to be so
Yeah, very like very enclosed. And there's not a whole
it's small and not in a bad way. I think it's really good because it's small. But
yeah,
it's just
I
yeah.
think I'm with you because even something like Escape from New York or Christine that I would consider like a smaller scale movie by him does have like this huge background and this huge like kind of
It's
lore
also
is
the
such an overload.
characters as well.
Yeah,
The actors in it are playing like so big. And so like it just feels like with Halloween, everything's a lot more natural. And I like that because that's what works for the movie and everything. But like something like Assault on Precinct 13, where the characters are kind of almost caricatures in a way, but not in a bad way. It's the same thing with I think why I like They Live so much is that the characters are so big. Like Roddy Piper is doing this like he's so calm and so he's not going big, like he's not acting big, but just I don't know, everything else is so big. It's just so weird. I don't know how to explain it, but that's just how I feel like with a Carpenter movie. Like my favorites just seem to be like these things where it's just big. Like I said, with They Live, Big Trouble in Little China, and Christine, there's like so much more going on.
Yeah,
So
and it's like everybody in the movies that I like by John Carpenter, the most, they kind of all talk in quotes.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's like everything they say is very like loud and to the point. Whereas Halloween, it does feel like a very natural, like normal people don't act that way. Is the way I like my John Carpenter movies. Like you
Right.
watch it and you
Yeah.
go, "This is not a normal
Which I
individual."
which I think Halloween does have that in Dr. Loomis.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, Dr. Loomis is a Carpenter character. And so, and so I think that they definitely have that character in there. It's just everything else is so much more normal and everything else with just Loomis being this one crazy oddball throughout the whole thing. Um, but yeah, so back to Assault on Precinct 13. I think that's what makes it interesting because I don't think anybody's necessarily that huge or big in this one either. I think everybody's playing it pretty fairly. Like I said, um, Laurie Zimmer's playing it real fucking cool the whole time. Napoleon, as much as he's a charming guy and everything like that, he's not going wild or anything. Even whenever he's like doing the fights and stuff like that, he's silent. He's not nobody's going crazy or anything like that. I think it's a real interesting movie because of that it's this weird mix of things. It's like it's proto Carpenter. It's like the seeds of what he becomes later are planted in this movie more so than anything else.
Yeah, it's
Um
definitely it's a very it's the calmest action-packed movie I've ever
right.
like everybody is so chill. Like
Yeah.
they're just like going crazy on this precinct. Like they're climbing through the like blinds and stuff, which I thought was wild. Like just lift it up or push it out of the way. Damn. Why are you trying to
Yeah.
climb through it? Like they're parting the blinds to climb through, and it's like that's not really how those work. Like just push them out of the way. But everything's just so calm. Like people are just getting shot and nobody's really like, oh, making any noise. It's just kind of like
No, they just fall down and then there's a new guy coming trying to get through the window. And it's interesting too because that's something that I noticed with this movie. You don't hear any of the bad guys say anything. None of the gang members talk. They don't scream, they don't do anything. They just fall.
yeah,
They're
that's
just
very
trying
true.
to get through the trying to get through the doors and the windows and everything. But the people who are making the noise are the people shooting them and everything. And so because even the criminals are using silencers on their weapons. So
Yeah,
it just
that part killed me. Mentioned silencers. The other inmate, I can't remember his name.
Wells.
Wait,
Yeah.
Wells, where he's silencer, huh? I didn't have any ammo.
Yeah, he was just shooting. He's like, oh, I wasn't even shooting anybody
I
for a
wasn't
while
even
there.
shooting anything. I didn't even have any ammo.
Oh man. But yeah, so I think this movie's like really cool for that. It definitely felt like there's a lot of it that feels kind of like you said, it goes kind of back to the Night of the Living Dead. It's kind of an homage in a way to Night of the Living Dead, but they're not zombies. They're these really weirdly silent gang members.
Yeah, and
So
was this the first like I'll call this a horror movie. Was this the first was this the first horror movie that had like the killer is in the back seat as they drive away? Like, is this the first? I can't think of an earlier movie that had that.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's
Because
funny.
because he's driving away and it's like, oh, it's like the scene in Aliens where that ship's lifting off and you're like, oh shit. Like that's what it felt like when
Yeah.
he's driving away. I was like, is this the first that did this?
I mean, I'm sure it's not, but it did it really effectively. So, and again, I think it lends itself really well because of how silent all of the gang members were.
Yeah.
And it just made it really creepy too. Like I don't consider this necessarily a horror movie, but it definitely feels like it's this weird mix of like a Western action with with horror tones to it.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. I feel like it's horror in the same way that like a movie like VFW gets called
yeah,
horror.
yeah,
Like it's just a very much like almost a home invasion movie. But
yeah,
yeah, it is creepy as you mentioned that none of the people really talked. It's just kind of like a hive mind the way they react to everything.
yeah, 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 it's really weird, and like they were all willing to die for this, like because they didn't really try to stop it. They kept just coming, and it was very zombie-like in a lot of ways. So I feel like it's in a lot of ways, I don't think he necessarily meant it to be that way, but
Yeah, we never get a leader either. I've just thought of that. Like we don't ever really see a leader of this whole thing.
well, it's the four guys who are rolling around um in the early part of the movie. They're the four
Okay, yeah,
gang
you're right. You're
warlords.
right. You're
Yeah.
right.
And so, but they're all just running around. You only see them for the longest part, like in the beginning, just kind of driving around and either aiming their guns at people or killing some people. And the only reason why it ever connects is because the father of the daughter, who's killed at the ice cream truck, he goes running to the police precinct, and the gang goes chasing after him to kill him too. Um, and so that's kind of how it all collides um together. And I did like the fact that this precinct is already kind of closed, and these um gangs are like removing the bodies so fast that there's this cop car that's going around that's trying to like check on these gunshots that are supposed to be being heard. um but um these two cops in this cop car can't find anything because they're just
Yeah,
like there's
one of my
nothing
favorite
going.
lines in the whole movie was "There's a war going on and we can't find it."
Yeah, yeah. Because like literally, because the gang members were using silencers on all their weapons, so it was only the guns that the police officers were, the people in the precinct were using that actually had any gunshot sounds. So if the cops weren't around that precinct at the time, which they thought was closed by that point, so they weren't thinking, "Hey, we got to go over to this police precinct," and so I do think it's funny too because they like because it's actually called the movie's called Assault on Precinct 13, but it's actually what was it?
Nine. It was
It's yeah,
nine.
Precinct 9 something 13. I can't remember what the thing was called.
All
But
I
yeah,
heard was him saying, "Yeah, Precinct 9 over there, Precinct 9." I kept going, "Why did he call it this?" It's like Troll 2. Like, why did he
so
call
it's
the movie
so it's not
Precinct?
his fault. He wanted to call it The Siege.
Oh, okay,
But
yeah, yeah.
a producer or the distributor or something like that called it Assault on Precinct 13. And so to punch it up or whatever like that. And so they thought that would sound cooler.
And he was
Um
just like, "But there's no Precinct 13, guys."
yeah, yeah.
But 13's
So
such a cool number, man. Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a cool name for a movie. It's not
It's
terrible. It just doesn't work for the actual thing in the movie where like it's Precinct 9, whatever
yeah.
13.
I'll be honest.
So
It's better than the Siege. That's for sure.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think it just works really well. I think it's great that, that the criminals, like these two hardcore criminals who are there, they don't actually turn on the police. There's never a moment where they try to turn on the cop or the people in there. They're just trying to help them survive the assault, the siege. And so I thought that was really cool that
Yeah, I like that too because that's definitely a trope you see a lot now. Is oh well, this guy's helping them so he can turn on them later. There was none of that. They just were genuinely like, well, if we don't work together, we're not getting out of here.
yeah. Yeah, so apparently yeah, it's Precinct 9 Division 13.
Okay, there it
Um
is.
and then at first John Carpenter wanted to call the film The Anderson Alamo.
Oh,
And
that's
at
terrible.
yeah, and at one point he changed the working title to The Siege. So, but no major studio wanted to distribute it. So, a small Irwin Yablans, a small distributor, saw the movie, loved it, promised to get it to the big screen, but rejected Carpenter's titles and came up with the name Assault on Precinct 13.
Good on him,
So,
honestly.
yeah, I mean, it works. So, um, so yeah, so it's interesting. And so according to the IMDb trivia, that it says Donald Pleasance would appear in John Carpenter's movies because his daughters were big fans of Assault on Precinct 13. So,
Wow,
yeah,
that is wild.
right. So,
Of all the trivia, we wouldn't have had hit. Oh wow,
right. If it weren't for the fact that Donald Pleasance's daughters loved Assault on Precinct 13, we would have never had Dr. Loomis.
that's so
So,
crazy to me.
oh man, that is wonderful. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just this movie. Oh yeah, so Lori Zimmer, she said she hated her performance after seeing herself in the dailies, which is crazy because she's so good in this. This is
Yeah,
like
she's
it's
the
so
other secretary, right?
she's the major, she's the one secretary who gets through the whole
Oh,
ordeal.
okay,
Or
so she's
yeah,
Lee. Okay, yeah,
yeah,
that's
she's
crazy
lead.
that she didn't like it.
Yeah. Nancy Loomis plays the other
There it
secretary, I
is.
believe
That's
the
what I was
name
thinking.
Julie. Yeah. And Nancy Loomis will go on to be in uh other John Carpenter movies. She's in Halloween and in Fog, as well as in Halloween 2. And I believe Halloween 3, it said. Um, Nancy Loomis ends up playing Annie Brackett in Halloween, one of Laurie's friends.
Which is so weird
So,
because her last name is Loomis, and then there's
yeah, yeah.
obviously so strange.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Charles Cyphers, he's also in this movie. He plays Officer Starker. He's the cop that's helping to transport uh Napoleon and the others on the bus. He dies pretty early on in the
Oh,
movie.
I hated him. Hated him. I don't know what it is about him. I just can't. I couldn't stand him. And that's that's one of my favorite Napoleon moments too, where he get. Can I ask you a question? I figured you're a cop. I figured you would. Then
Yeah.
later on at the end with Bishop, can I ask you a question? Ah, you're a cop. I assumed you'd get around to it eventually.
Yeah. I think it's funny too because it keeps playing out like, how did you get the name Napoleon? And he keeps like, well, I'll tell you sometime. And then he never gets to tell him.
We never
And
find
then,
out.
yeah, we never do. It's a great gag that never gets paid off.
I wonder if there's like a wonder if there's a video somewhere of someone asking him and him getting mad, like when they asked him if Childs was the thing.
Yeah.
Why
Uh,
why is he called Napoleon? Oh, we don't need to know that, do we? Oh, okay, no, I guess not. But do you
yeah.
know? Do you know John Carpenter? Yeah, I know. Okay, that's good enough for me.
Right. I don't even think John Carpenter knows at this point.
No, like my running theory is the thing with Childs and oh, I shouldn't say this if I'm not on the thing episode right now, obviously, but I think it was just a happy accident. I think people made that like came up with that and noticed it, and it was one of his goofs. It was
Yeah.
in continuity of the movie, and he just now he runs with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I kind of think the same. I think maybe he's since retroactively figured it out. Maybe not in the moment, but you never know. I don't know. He is a very good storyteller. So I kind of, but at the same time, there is a lot of shit that he's just like, I don't care about this. That stuff doesn't make any. It doesn't make any difference to the movie that I made. Um, I think it's funny too. Like as a person now, he went through his career was so it he is so well known as a really great director now, but like during when he was making every single one of his movies, they were so hard for him to get made, um and every one of them pretty much did not do well. So
Yeah, that's
other than
that's
maybe Starman.
that's
So
wild because now he's like thought of as like if you
he's
think
the
of like
horror master.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you think of like the best horror directors, it's usually him and Wes Craven are always at the top of the list.
Right.
And it's like he had such a hard time getting movies made, and now still isn't making movies, which is also strange because you know a studio would pay him a ton of money to make one.
I think he is done. I think he, like, as much as he liked making movies, he was so unappreciated in his time by the studios and by like the major audiences, the mainstream audiences, that he was just like, I'm just done. I can't keep making these movies that don't do well. and I think he would do like great. I just think he's done. Like he just wants to make his music and play his video games now. So
Yeah,
and
the video games is the main thing for him, which is
yeah,
obvious.
yeah. And I can't blame him for that. I mean,
Nope.
he's, how old is he now? He's
Got to be
got to be in
80s,
his
right?
70s, right?
Oh, geez, I thought 80s.
Let's see. He is 78.
Dang.
Just turned 78 this year. So,
Wow.
yeah. So, he's, but he's just doing his thing. He's living his life. He's enjoying it. He probably makes pretty good money off of these movies still, the royalties and everything like that he gets off of all these.
Oh yeah, just
Especially,
imagine like the like merch now. Like
oh
think
yeah.
about the Halloween franchise. Like every time someone sells a Halloween shirt that's officially licensed, he has to get like a $20 shirt. He probably gets at least a dime out of, right? You
Well,
would think.
and
I
the
don't know.
music rights and all that stuff too. Like I'm sure, like because he did so much on each one of these things, like he's getting like a little bit more of a piece of it than just being a director on it because he was the director,
Yeah,
the writer, the producer, sometimes the editor, sometimes and often the composer. So he's got all these hats in there because that's how he just made the movies out of necessity. So and this one is especially like that. He did all of that in this movie because he had to. Like it's just they gave him the money. They didn't give him a lot of money, but they were like, just do whatever you want. And that's what he decided to do is make this movie. So um
this is the one too that if you think about it, well, other than like some of the later ones like Vampires and The Ward and sadly Ghost of Mars, which I think is an incredible movie. But he didn't it's like this one has nothing. Like this would be the perfect like we talk about Fortnite. This would be the perfect Fortnite game mode. Like three players in a building and then like 80 who have to
just
try
a
who have to
horde. Yeah.
yeah, that would be it would be a blast, but this one got a Blu-ray release and that's about it, right? Like one of the
Yeah,
OG
his
Shout Factory Scream Factory movies and that was it.
yeah. Yeah, Shout Factory's done a lot. Like most of his movies have actually come out on Shout Factory discs, which I actually have most of them. Um so there are a few that I don't have this anymore. I actually had this one on Blu-ray. I sold it because I was anticipating them because they were starting to make 4Ks of all of his stuff. So I
Oh
was
no.
anticipating this one getting a 4K release, and then it didn't. And I was like, well, shit. So
Yeah.
I ended up being able to watch this on streaming, which was fine. And eventually I'll get it back at some point. But I
Yeah, I
literally
think
have
I
every other single one of his movies on like Blu-ray or 4K or whatever. So
I think this one I have on DVD. This was like a it got grandfathered in on DVD.
yeah, yeah. So this one is one of the I think of only what three movies that he's ever made that has gotten a remake. And so this one was remade in I want to say
Wow, only three, really?
yeah, Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, of course, and The Fog. I think those are the only ones that have been
Yeah.
remade because
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, the thing was like a prequel.
the thing was a prequel. Yeah, nothing else has been touched. They've been talking for years about a Big Trouble in Little China and an Escape from New York remakes. But they've never
The money I would pay to see John Cena in Big Trouble in Little China is unreal.
I can see that working. I would like I'd say 10 years ago I would have said shut your mouth. But John Cena has become a much better actor since then. And I would agree on that now.
Like he
So
would be so good in that. I would love
yeah,
every second of that.
that would be funny. I would honestly I don't think it would work as well. But Wyatt Russell would always be great as to kind of step in his father's footsteps. But I think it is funny though too because like I just saw a little snippet of an interview where they were talking about how people have been wanting Wyatt to uh, be in the remake of Escape from New York, but he's already like 10 years older than Kurt was at that time.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, so it's just it's very bizarre.
I love seeing that, and I haven't got to watch. We're actually going to watch it tonight. The first episode of Monarch, but I haven't.
Oh, I
Like,
love that show.
man, the first season where he played young, the young
Yes.
version of that character, it's perfect. Like it, why nobody has thought of that is insane to me.
Right. So yeah, no, I love that they finally did that. Like that they and it's a really good show. Like yeah, the first season was a couple of years ago and the first episode of the new season just came out. So which is really good. I liked it.
Yeah,
So
I'm really excited to watch it. I'm a huge Godzilla nerd, so
oh yeah.
I'll be looking for Easter eggs that don't exist. And
Right, right. Well,
I know,
we'll have to talk off air more about it.
oh, for sure, absolutely, because we could probably go on another 3 hour rant about that.
Right. But yeah, so I'd say, Assault on Precinct 13 is a very good a beginning. Like I said, it's kind of proto Carpenter. It's kind of where you start seeing a lot of the seeds of where he goes from here. Really good soundtrack. Um, really fun characters, tense sequences. I don't think the camera like I is this Dean Cundy? Um, I don't know if he's working with him yet on here. No, Douglas Knapp was the cinematographer on this. So yeah, so not like Dean Cundy comes in on Halloween, I believe. And they worked together for quite a few movies after that. And that really kind of helps define the Carpenter look.
Yeah, that
Which
really wide with the blurry edges, kind of.
yeah. So I think this one's pretty good. But like I said, it's proto Carpenter. It's right there at the beginning, and I dig it. And then the next one after this is Halloween, which kind of really kind of breaks open his style. I think
Yeah,
that's what's
that's
really great about Halloween is as much as I say it doesn't feel like what he becomes, I feel like Halloween is that next step where it's getting there.
oh yeah, for
It's that
sure,
next step in finding his um what he becomes later, especially in the 80s. Because I think the 80s were really his era. Um
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Like the soundtracks fit perfect. Like even this movie feels kind of like an '80s movie in a lot of ways.
oh yeah. Yeah, it's let's see, because like what is it? Yeah, the next one's Halloween, then after that's The Fog in 1980, but then like 81 is Escape from New York, 82 is The Thing, 83 is Christine, 84 is Starman, 86 is Big Trouble in Little China, 87 is Prince of Darkness, and 88 is They Live.
What a run!
That stretch from 78 to 88 is unmatched.
Yeah, that's
Um,
insane work, really.
right? And because then the next one after that's Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
Oof.
So yeah,
What did he do? What did he do after that? Out of
in
curiosity.
in the Mouth of Madness comes up right after that.
Yeah,
So
that
at least
checks
he
out.
comes back big. Yeah,
That
he
checks
comes.
out.
Yeah, he comes back with one really good big one after that within the Mouth of Madness. Then it's Village of the Damned, Escape from L.A., Vampires, Ghosts of Mars, and the Ward. So, um, I just think and whereas I think not all of theirs is necessarily bad, they're not up to that level. The '90s
Yeah,
era, basically everything after '88, just kind of other than in the Mouth of Madness, kind of just goes downhill. Um,
yeah. Especially
but
Village of the Damned. I always forget that's one of his.
I don't actually mind that one as much. It's not terrible. It's not great by any means,
It's
but it's
just
not.
it's a very middle of the road movie, which isn't what he
Yeah,
does.
no. But yeah, 78 to 88. Oh man, it's like Pete Carpenter. It's like
Yeah,
the best. It's like such a like, and what is that? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 movies in the span of about 10 years.
yeah. What a
So
run! That's wild to think about.
yeah.
Now that we like look at that, it's like wow. From
So
Halloween to They Live, insanity.
right. Right. It's truly insane. It's such great work. So, but yeah. So all right. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention that we hadn't talked about yet?
No, I covered everything I needed to mention.
Okay.
I mainly wanted to mention the ice cream man, and I got that out of the way pretty early.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, why don't you let people know where they can find you online?
Hell yeah. I always say hell yeah, like I'm a anyway. Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Damien Thulu. Damien's Weird Little Guys is my art. I'm on Threads, Damien Thulu, Facebook, Damien Casey. I have a TikTok that I don't really use that much. I guess it's just memes essentially. But yeah, that's where I
Right.
am.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming in. You're technically your first episode with me, but your second one that we recorded. So I appreciate you coming in and saving my bacon with this one. I
Yeah,
had
man.
fun talking about it.
No,
Yeah.
really, thanks for having me. It's always a blast being on here and chatting. Like, it's one of my it's after two, it's one of my favorites to do. It's a blast.
All right. I appreciate that. We'll definitely have you on again soon. And until then, stay creepy. Thanks for listening. Creepy and Geeky is produced and hosted by Robert Clark. If you like what you've heard, please consider giving the show 5 stars and a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And share the podcast on social media to help spread the word. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app or at creepyandgeeky.com. You can follow the podcast by going to creepyandgeeky.com and clicking on any of the social links. If you'd like to follow me, you can find my links at geekthulu.com. You can support the podcast by ordering teas and more on Teepublic or by donating to the coffee page. All of the links are in the show notes. Finally, don't forget, stay creepy.